Hello everyone, I am Professor Amit Jadhav. In last lecture, we have seen different types of attack that perform on a network. So the different attacks are, especially the attack is a DOS attack that we discussed in the last lecture, how the DOS attack perform and what is the attacker take care of it to prevent from the DOS attack. So there are different DOS attack that the attacker performs and block the networks. So first one is the DNS DOS. Okay, the difference between the DNS query and the DNS response is exploited by the DNS DOS attack. So whenever we send some request to the server, at that time server responds it. So as we know that whenever we access the google.com, at that time we write www.google.com, and if we want to access the first page, we send its ID to the server. Server recognize it and then give response to the requested client. Everyone can hear my voice. Is it? Am I audible? हॅलो.
हाँ,
हॅलो, येतोय का आवाज सर्वांना? ओके,
वो ये
छान.
तो
क्लिअर येतोय ना? ओके, चालेल. So whenever we send the request to the google.com, at that time uh, there there may be the ID generated in URL, and that send request to the server. The server recognize uh, and get all the information regarding the host, and it first authenticate the host and then establish the connection and send response to the user. So this is nothing but the DNS query. So whatever the request we send to the user, sent to the server is nothing but the DNS query, and whatever the reply sent by the server is nothing but the DNS response. So for example, if we log in with Facebook, at that time we send our ID and password. So it redirect so this data sent to the server by using the URL that our ID and password in the encrypted format. Then server get the DNS name with, and using DNS name it convert it into the IP address and it authenticate the user. That means the server get all the information regarding the user that from where the response get all the information regarding the client machines get by the server. It authenticate it and then responds the user. So this is nothing but the DNS response and DNS query. In this attack, the network, all the bandwidth is tied up with bogus DNS queries. To multiply the traffic, the attacker uses the DNS servers as amplifiers. So here, whenever the attacker attacks on the system, at that time it sends n number of queries to the server. So server is always busy to respond the such type of queries, and it amplifies the queries. So there are number of queries sent to the server, and server get busy with such type of query to get busy to respond with the such type of bogus query. The attackers begin the attack by sending the DNS query that contains the spoof IP address. So here the attackers use the idea that it not only send the DNS query, it also create the spoof IP. So whenever the server get the IP address, it assure that it's a valid IP address, because the attacker use such type of IP addresses to send the DNS query, and whenever the server gets the IP address, it authenticated, and the server considered that it's a valid user, it's not a invalid user, so it responds, and server get busy with particular IP address only. The intentional victim to is DNS server. In response to the small queries, much larger size data response is sent. Because of this, the link become congested and the DOS take place. So for the response, the server is always busy, and the server need to respond all the queries sent by the user, and maybe the response require the large data to send, and the server get hangs in this case. So it will not the server will not entertain other IP addresses or other DNS queries that it get from the different IP addresses. Got it? Next one is the synchronize or land attacks. The TCP is three-way handshake connection established process between two computer is exploited by the SYN As we know that the three shake handshake, first one is the authentication, then connection, and then acknowledgement. The three process performed by the TCP, right? So whenever the sync attack perform, the TCP handshake has the following step. So first one is the client send the sync request for the synchronization. The server send an acknowledgement and sync. It means that the client machine is acknowledged and sync request is sent to the client. The Okay, the client and the server must have to synchronize the sequence number. So first server send sorry first the client sends message, then server acknowledge with the ACK message and synchronized message to the client. After that, the client send ACK to the server to acknowledge the server synchronization request. So first client sends a synchronization message, then server send acknowledge message, and after that again client send the acknowledge message. So these three steps performed by the client, and when the client and server acknowledge each other request, the handshake is successfully completed. So this is the normal process to send request to the server and get response from the server. A sync attack sends the multiple SYN packets to the targeted system whose IP address are bad. They flood the target system with SYN packets. As a result of this, makes the system to send the response as a sync acknowledge message. So here the attacker enter in the network and send sync packet to the sync packet with the multiple sync packet to the server get that packet and server busy to send the acknowledge to the sync packet. So the server is only busy with the attacker always send the sync packet and server responds it. And here the attacker use bad IP address, so the server cannot recognize the attacker. The main problem arrives when the system wait for the acknowledge message uh, from the client, when comes in a response to the sync acknowledge message, but the sync acknowledge message are waiting in the queue. The queue size is limited for the no for the number of messages. So here always the attacker sends the sync message and it get response from the server with sync and acknowledge messages. So but there are some restrictions to send the sync acknowledge message, as there are limited size of the queue, and after when the queue is free, then server can be send the acknowledge message. When the queue become full, all the subsequent incoming sync packets get ignored. In order for a sync acknowledges to be removed from the queue, an ACK message must have to be returned from the client. Otherwise, the time interval run out and the terminates the three-way handshake process, so that the request queue remain full and services to the legitimate users are denied. So here the client always send the synchronization packet and the queue get full. And whenever the queue get full, server will not respond for that, and server ignore the request, but server have to send the acknowledge packet to the client. So it send the acknowledge packet, and when the server send acknowledge packets, the queue gets empty. And as the queue gets empty, the attacker send request to the server again. So it keeps busy. So the server keep busy with the attacker only, and the other legitimate users cannot access the server. So this is the sync and land attack. So the land attack is little bit different from the sync attack. In the sync packets, floods from the same spoof IP address is sent to the targeted system. If the source IP address of the computer is from the internal network, then the land attack can be prevented by filtering out the incoming packets. So this is the we have discussed the sea attack. The land attack is little bit different. It performed by the internal networks. So sync may be performed by the external network, but the land attack can be performed by the internal network, and that can be prevented by network administrator by filtering the incoming packets. Next one is the ping of death. The ping of death attacks the attacker creates the IP packets larger than the 10 MB, which is the maximum allow size IP specification. So these packets may crash, hang, or reboot the target system. So here the server uh, get request from the attacker to ping the network, and here the attacker creates the packet whose size is more than the 10 MB, and whenever it reaches to the server get hangs or the system get hangs, crash, or reboot. Next one is the ping flood fraggle smurf. The ping flood attack is also known as the ICMP flood. The attacker sends the number of ping packets to the winsong, which floods the server. This causes the server not respond to the server ping activity responses, and the connections will time out. If we found a huge amount of modem activity, then there may be chance of ping flood attack, or you can also call it the ping storm. So whenever in ping attack, the attacker sends the or always call the ping method. So server is always busy with the with response the ping attack, and sometimes the server timeout, and because of the large number of flood packets. Okay, so to avoid that, network administrator must stop the activity or must stop the response to the ping command. The Fraggle attack, first flood we have seen. Then second one is the Fraggle. The Fraggle attack is related to the ping flood. In Fraggle attack, the attacker sends the ping packet to a subnet using spoof IP address. This action causes the computers on the subnet or respond to spoof address, and the result the flood echo reply messages. So here, the attacker creates the spoof IP address and send the request to the server, and the server reply with the echo messages. Next one is the swarm attack. The swarm attack is a type of brute force attack and also variation in the ping attack. The attack use the ping packet but with two twists. First, the attacker selects the network of innocent victims. So here it similar like the brute force attack where the attacker just guess the ID and password. Here it use the ping packet and use the innocent victims. The attacker spoofs of the source IP address in the ping packet so that the appears come from the victim. After this attacker sends this request to the network, the broadcast mode by setting the last byte of the address to all ones. Then the broadcast mode packets are distributed to all the hosts on network. Smoke attacks does the more damage than other DOS like Syncpro. So in Smoke, the attacker creates the packets and broadcast it to all the networks. So everyone gets the invalid packets, and in that the virus or any illegal activity performed by the attacker. Next one is the UDP bomb or the UDP snork. The UDP bomb and attacker use the UDP and few of the services that echo packets on receipt to make the service denying network congestion by the creating flood of UDP packets between two target systems. So here the attackers create the echo packets. That means the duplicate packets are created and it sends to the targeted system. The UDP chargen Chargen is the testing tool generates the service of characteristic for the each packet receives. Then it sends the package to the another system UDP echo service, which echoes every characters it receives. So uh, again, whenever the first system get finished, the attacker moves to the other system and send the packets to that system also. It will create the echo service. That means it repeated the characters. This is known as the UDP bomb or UDP snog. The port UDP charger is 10. This testing tool is exploited by sending the flow of echoes goes back and forth between the two systems, and it causes the congestion in the network. So whenever the number of UDP packets are sent to the system, the congestion is generated, and this is known as the UDP bomb or the packet storm. Usually use firewall to filter the port service to prevent the protect from the attack. Also disable the unnecessary UDP service on each computer. So to prevent from such type of attack, we have to use the firewall. It will filter the all the packets before it reach to the system. The snark attack is like the UDP bomb. It uses the UDP frame that has source port 9 or 7 with destination of 135. The result of attack is the same UDP bomb, and it is the flood unnecessary transmission that can slow performance crash the system are involved. So Snork attack is also same, but it uses the uh, source port as well as the destination port. Next one is the teardrop attack. The teardrop attack misuses the features designed to improve the network communication. As we know, the network IP datagram is a variable in length. The datagram protocol allows sending a single data unit to the fragment transmit separately. Every fragment indicates the length and retrieves the position within on the data unit. So the receiving end is responsible for the reassembling the fragment into single data unit. In teardrop attack, the attacker sends the series of datagram that cannot be fit to the together properly. It may happen that the operating system locks with the partial data units and cannot be reassembled the data and causes loss. So in teardrop attacks, the attackers send the frames like that they are fragmented with each other, but after that it cannot be reassembled. So it will so the user cannot get the proper data in this case because the frames are not reassembled. Next one is the SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol, exploit to monitor the network device and manage the network. SNMP tools is used. SNMP is use of protocols and it uses PDU messages over the network to different machines or devices that have SNMP agent software installed. The SNMP agent software maintains the managed information base. These MIBs contains the information about the device. So receiving PDU agent, they respond with the information from MIB. In SNMP, vulnerable has the discovered it provides means the attackers disable the service. So using SNMP, the attackers attackers disable the services by maintaining the management information base as well as the as well as after receiving the package the PDU by the agent, they responds with the information from MIB. No, next one is the source routing attacks. The source routing attacks are supported by the TCP/IP. It permits the sender of network data to route the packets to the specific point to the network. So we all know about the router. The router is used to send the packets from the source to the destination. The source routing of the two types, strict source routing and second one is the loose source routing. So it's in strict source routing, the exact route is specified by the sender of data. The loose source record, the sender can specify certain routes through which the packets must pass. So these are the different types of routes. that used to send the data from source to destination. So in strict source route, the router set the exact path from source to destination, and in loose source, the sender can specify the certain routers through which the packet must be passed. So in strict source routing, the router strictly select the path, and that cannot be modified. But in loose source record route, the sender can specify the path that from which system the data will be passed. The IP header contain an option called source route. The option allows sender to dominate the routing decision that are usually taken by the routers between the source and destination machine. The source routing is used network administrator first to map the network, and second one is the troubleshooting routing the communication problem, and third one to force the traffic to the route that will give the best performance. So here the network administrator perform the three tasks. First, it map the network, then troubleshoot the routing communication problem, and last one is the to force the traffic through the route that will give the best performance. So here the network administrator get decisions from where the packet should go. The hacker exploit the source routing they use to reach the private internal address on the LAN, and that usually would not reachable to the internet. So the route the traffic through another machine that is reachable from the both the internet and internal machines. Most of the routers prevent this attack by disabling the source routing. So here the attackers attack on the system or attack on the router, and it changes the path so that the packet never reach to the internet, and the user cannot use this network or the internet. So here we complete the point of denial of services. In next lecture we are going to start with other protocol exploits. Okay, so here we end the session. If you have any doubt regarding lecture, let me know. So here we end the session. Thank you for watching.